starting off with a front and back basic bodice pattern. We have up onto the half length, and we are going to be creating our butt neck. First thing we need to do is cut through this waist dart up onto the shoulder point. And then we're closing up the shoulder dart. Next thing we'll do now is work on the neckline. Measuring from the center front to where the end of the shoulder is, I have about 7.5 inches. This butt neck design, we're going to be having 2.5 inches. That's 2.5 inches as the width. We'll mark that point. And how deep we want this neck to be, about 5.5 inches deep. And then we'll connect those points together. Also, we're going to go ahead to do the armhole. For the armhole, we're going to mark the midpoint of this armhole. This will enable us draw the Armhole Princess Dart. From that midpoint that we've marked on the armhole, get your hip curve, and you want to draw a line connecting that point up onto the waist dart. So I am taking just 1/2 inch there. That will prevent any kind of fullness or gaping that will happen around the armhole area. Once that is done, I am measuring my underbust line from the neck point, measuring 14.5 inches as my underbust line, and I am marking that on the pattern. Now on the underbust line, I am using my ruler to measure how much I have there, because you're going to be doing an underbust tightening. So whatever your underbust circumference is that you've taken on your measurement, divide that by 4, and the excess is what you're going to distribute on the underbust line. So once you have gotten that, you connect that point, continue drawing the princess dart, continue drawing it up onto the underbust area, just as you have seen me do here. And then from the underbust line, you just want to rule a straight line down to the end of a pattern. So once you have completed this, I'm just labeling my pattern. The center front is on fold. I'll be cutting it on fold. And then the side front, I'm cutting 2 pieces of that. Cut away the excess, that's the dart area. I'm also chopping off that fullness part there. After you finish removing the excess from the dart, you're going to get just a little piece of paper and put it on the armhole area that's along the side front pattern, because we want to redraw the armhole. So use your French curve and just redraw it, so that by the time you're joining the princess dart, the armhole part is meeting up and it's looking okay. Once you've finished doing that, move over to the neckline, and I am cutting off the boat neck and I'm just chopping off about 1/4 inch to eliminate any form of a shoulder not sitting directly. Moving over to the back pattern, we have a waist dart and shoulder dart. First thing we're going to do is measure out the width of a shoulder we'll be using for the back. Using 2.5 inches, I'm going to be putting it here. So this back dart, I really am not going to use it because I'll be using an Armhole Princess, so it's fine even if it goes in. And how deep the back will be, I'll be using a 3.5 inches depth, just about here. So we'll connect those points together. Beautiful. Next thing we're going to do is just draw the armhole, measuring the midpoint from here, about 9. So we'll just have 4.5, which is just there. Got a curve. We don't really need the part that is that has so much curve. We're not using this very curved out part, just a subtle curve. And just connect it to this part. We can make the bottom straight. Now we'll just cut this out. So I can just cancel this out. Does not exist. We're cutting 2 of this. Let me put my back on there. 2 of this as well. Cut 2. Go back. So I'll still cut out this dart. This way. Please do well to include your sewing allowances. I'm going to be using 1 inch on the side seam, 1/2 inch on the inseam, 1/2 inch on the inseam. I already have my zipper allowance here. And for the front, this part is on fold. I'm going to be using 1/2 inch on the inseam, 1/2 inch here, and then 1 inch on the side seam. So let's take this to our fabric, cutting the fabric, the interfacing, and the lining, and we'll come back to start joining this up. Okay guys, so we have finished drafting the pattern. Now we have taken our pattern to the fabric and we have cut the pattern on the main fabric. We've included the sewing allowance we're going to be using for the front and for the back. Now we're going to go ahead to show the kind of interfacing we're going to use to give this front area the lift, the bust area the lift, and also the back is not excluded from being interfaced. So now we have 4 pieces, left and right, as well as left and right for the lining. 4 pieces here, left and right, as well as left and right for the lining. If you are lining, fine. If not, just go ahead to cut 2 pieces of each. 4 pieces here as well, and the front will be on fold. So we just have 2 pieces, 1 lining, 1 main fabric. So let's go right ahead to the interfacing. I'm going to show you a simple technique that you're going to use to create that bust effect, that bust lift effect using the interfacing. The interfacing, when you go to the market, most times is known as wording. I'm going to show you what it looks like, very thick, foamy sort of interfacing. And the mistakes that most designers make is they put it all around the front area, they put it all on the side seam area, put it all in the center front area, and then it becomes bulky. You do not want to make that mistake. So you just have specific areas that you need to focus on, which is particularly the bust area for the lift. So just this circle of the bust area for the lift. That's what I'm going to show you how to do on the pattern. Basically, you want to avoid this area where the sleeve is going to be attached. That's the armhole area, the armpit area. You want to avoid any thick interfacing being there. You are focused like you want to do a cup, like gauging it, right? Just gauge, yeah, something in this light. Okay, you can even take it to your under bust, and take it to your under bust, something in this light. This one too in this light. Okay, so we are just going to cutting out that circle on the interfacing. We're going to cut two of this side. So this part, you can just get a plain A4 paper, putting it under, tracing it out for both sides, and then marking some lines like this, horizontal lines as a guideline. So just trace out this area. Do you know how to hold your tracing wheel? Right, so you have this part, your hand goes in here and you're tracing neatly. Okay, this is the front and this is the inner side of the fabric, so you can get an idea of the whole shabazz. Okay, and this one. So first fuse this on, then I will put a lighter one on top just to fuse the whole thing. Okay, after you have finished using your thicker interfacing to go around the bust area, you then want to cover up with a very light one. Not very light per se. You could use your hair stay, or you could use like a tissue stay. So usually this is what it's called, okay, in Nigeria. So you can use any of them. You can see how transparent it looks. That will just hold everything in place and just let everything relax, you get me? So I am just going to place this on. This time around, right side facing me and the wrong side going to be on the fusible part of this interfacing. Once we see, it's very lightweight. It's just tearing up. See, that's the light one I'm using. It'll just seal everything in. It's still going to give it firmness, structure, the cotton, durability. Yeah, that's the purpose of interfacing. So yeah, the more the merrier. Okay, so here are all the pieces of the fabric. I have the front, left and right, everything fused beautifully. I have the back. If you look closely, you can see that the back does not have the thicker interfacing. We just went ahead to use just the light one to give it just stability and to control the stretch in the cotton fabric. Yes, Ankara is cotton, however, it still has a bit of stretch. So the interfacing controls the stretch. So we have the back pieces for the left and right. We're going to join the side back to the center back piece for both left and right hand side. Okay, we'll do that same thing for the lining for both the left and the right hand side. Then we move on to the side front, to the center front for both the left and the right hand side. And as soon as we're done with that, we're going to use our bust ham to properly press this bust area so that it just comes and cups the bust beautifully. Okay, so let's go right ahead to start stitching this up. Alright guys, so we have come to the end of today's tutorial. If you did find this video helpful, please do give me a huge thumbs up, as well as subscribe if you are yet to. And if you want to see how I will finish up this Armhole Princess Darted blouse, very clean and neat finishing, please click the link up here to watch that video. And till we see the next tutorial, stay safe, God bless you all.